Long before man took his first steps on the surface of the earth, the world was ruled by the jinn. They were the Khalifa, created of fire, but not fire, in the same way that man would be created of clay, but not clay. Like mankind, they were created with free will to choose the right path or the wrong one. Many jinn rebelled and chose the path of injustice and oppression. Killing and chaos spread across the earth. One jinn stood out as different. And he was given a place among the angels. He was Iblees. When the situation on earth became too dire, Allah sent an army of angels to destroy the evil jinn. It is disputed whether this army was led by Iblees himself, or whether due to his piety Iblees was brought before Allah at the end of the battle. What the Quran supports, however, is that he was a jinn raised among the ranks of Allah's closest angels. Of all the creatures of Allah who were kept close to Allah, Iblees alone had the power to choose between good and evil. With the defeat of the jinn, Iblees saw an opening for himself to become Khalifa over the world. Only Allah knew that Iblees was harboring dark thoughts. Allah's laws meant he would not punish Iblees for thoughts alone, but only for his actions. He would be tested. The test came in an unexpected form. Allah took some clay and created Adam, the first man to be Khalifa on earth. The angels could not understand why Allah would create a new Khalifa on earth after their battle to remove the old ones. Allah told the angels that he knew what they didn't. Did he mean that he knew the hidden intentions of Iblees? Or did he know that the offspring of Adam would produce a few who would truly be worthy of leading the earth? Men who would be worth bowing down to? Perhaps both. As he asked the angels and Iblees to bow down to Adam, all angels did as they were told, but Iblees refused with the words, "I am better than he. Thou did create me from fire, and him from clay." Iblees had failed the test. He had openly disobeyed Allah, and his dark intentions were exposed for all to see. He was cursed by Allah, and would have been sent immediately to hell. Iblees was still full of rage for Adam, however, and saw a chance to get his revenge on mankind. He asked for a respite and long life, so that he could test man as he had been tested, lead man astray, and prove them no better than he. I will lie in wait for mankind on your straight path. Then will I assault them from before them and behind them, from their right and their left, nor will you find in most of them gratitude. Allah granted him this respite until a time of Allah's choosing, not the time of the resurrection of man as Iblees asked, but a time long enough to put mankind to the test. Allah banished Iblees with the words, "Get out from this, disgraced and expelled. If any of them follow you, hell will I fill with you all." Allah would banish any man who failed the test, to reside in hell alongside Iblees. Allah had confidence in mankind, however. Confidence that there would be many among the race of man who Iblees could not corrupt. To help man, there would be people to help guide them along the right path, even as Iblees tried to draw them from it. This would ultimately converge in the final battle between Iblees and the last of the guides, the promised one, Imam Mahdi. Imam Mahdi is not a prophecy, it is a promise, and the time is now. The subject of this documentary film is unique. On one side is Iblees, a virtually immortal creature made from smokeless fire, a jinn driven by thousands of years of bitterness, hatred, pride, and anger. On the other side is the perfect human, appointed by Allah to guide us and help us, the legendary 12th Imam, Imam Mahdi, the master of our time, anticipated by billions and awaited for centuries. Foretold and promised by the Prophet himself in many authentic hadith. Disbelieving in the Mahdi is like disbelief in the last and final prophet, Prophet Muhammad. May peace and blessings of Allah be upon him and his pure progeny. In what is perhaps one of the most relevant hadith for all times, the Holy Prophet says, "Whosoever dies without recognizing the Imam of his time dies the death of the Jahiliyyah." But before we discuss this, let us discuss the harbinger of darkness, Iblees. Allah and his beloved Prophet have warned us against this formidable enemy. Imagine an enemy so powerful that he can't be seen by humans, and yet he can whisper and suggest directly to the deepest part of your soul. An enemy who has been granted a lifespan far surpassing any human. This is Iblees, also known as Shaitan. He is also known as the deceiver, as his longevity gives him thousands of years of experience learning to deceive mankind. He has learned much and adapted to a world where many know of him and are cautious of him. Especially after the coming of the final prophet, Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings of Allah be upon him and his pure progeny. He stands with an army of both jinn and men to aid him in his dark labor. Almost immortal, Iblees has trained generation after generation of fiery shayateen, filling them with rage and animosity towards mankind and honing their skills in the art of deception. What chance do we mere mortals stand against such an enemy? Our only hope lies along the path to Allah. But this path is not made of concrete, nor can you walk this path with your feet. You walk this path with your decisions. The path has to be lived. You cannot see the path, but you can follow someone who is on that path. That is probably why the Prophet has asked us to pray for this 17 times in a day. We ask Allah to keep us on the path of those who are special for Allah, those upon whom He has bestowed His favors. Their path is the straight path, we say. We say this and ask for this in every salah, every cycle of every obligatory prayer, 17 times in a day. O Lord, keep us on the straight path, the path of those upon whom you have bestowed your favors, not the path of those who have incurred your displeasure, nor of those who have gone astray. You can follow Iblees, or you can choose to follow the guided ones who are on the straight path to Allah. The person whom you follow is your Imam. Following the guided ones, or the Imams, is one of the most important concepts taught by the last and final prophet of Islam. It is so important that the Prophet has emphasized it in his hadith that is accepted to be true by all Muslim schools of thought. This hadith of the Prophet is so clear and so powerful in its support of a concept that is sadly ignored by his ummah. We risk our entire faith by ignoring this important hadith of the Prophet. May peace and blessings of Allah be upon him and his pure progeny. What is that important hadith? Imam Mahdi is not a prophecy, it is a promise, and the time is now. You cannot see the path, but you can follow someone who is on that path. That is probably why the Prophet has asked us to pray for this 17 times in a day. We ask Allah to keep us on the path of those who are special for Allah, those upon whom He has bestowed His favors. Their path is the straight path, we say. We say this and ask for this in every salah, every cycle of every obligatory prayer, 17 times in a day. O Lord, keep us on the straight path, the path of those upon whom you have bestowed your favors, not the path of those who have incurred your displeasure, nor of those who have gone astray. You can follow Iblees, or you can choose to follow the guided ones who are on the straight path to Allah. The person whom you follow is your Imam. Following the guided ones, or the Imams, is one of the most important concepts taught by the last and final prophet of Islam. It is so important that the prophet has emphasized it in his hadith that is accepted to be true by all Muslim schools of thought. This hadith of the prophet is so clear and so powerful in its support of a concept that is sadly ignored by his ummah. We risk our entire faith by ignoring this important hadith of the prophet. May peace and blessings of Allah be upon him and his pure progeny. What is that important hadith? That hadith is quoted in Musnad Ahmed bin Hanbal and other books of hadith. Whosoever dies without recognizing the Imam of his time dies the death of the Jahiliyyah. What this universally accepted hadith clearly says is that every age has an Imam, and if you don't know or recognize the Imam of your age, then you die the death of the days of the Jahiliyyah. What is the death of the days of the Jahiliyyah? Jahiliyyah is the era before the prophet, an era of paganism and disbelief. If we don't recognize the Imam of our age, we will die the death of that era, the death of a disbeliever. Yes, the death of a disbeliever. Our entire faith and future depends on knowing and recognizing the Imam. So, who is the Imam of our age, your age, my age? Whom should we follow? To follow a person, the person needs to share the same time as you. We can follow the teachings of a guide from the past, but we can't follow the guide. The Imam of your age naturally shares the same time as you and lives in your age. That is why he is called the Imam of your age after all. In each age, Iblees takes the fight to the Imam. In the time of Adam, he fought Adam. In the time of Ibrahim, it was he the Iblees fought, as Ibrahim was both prophet and Imam. Even today, we stone the Shaitan at Mina as part of the Hajj rituals. Iblees plots against the Imam, and in so doing, he plots against you. There is a constant struggle between the Imam who wants to guide you along the path to paradise and Iblees, who uses his skills to trick and deceive until you are unwilling or unable to follow the Imam. Iblees wants you to find yourself confined for eternity within the blazing fires of hell. The first target of Iblees is to draw you away from the Imam. It comes as no surprise that only a mere 72 stood with Imam Hussein, Imam of his time, while the majority of the Muslim Ummah stood with the ruler of the time, Yazid the Accursed. This teaches us that the Imam of our time is not necessarily the ruler of our time. The weapon of the Imam is truth, to show the mirages and deceptions of Iblees for what they truly are. He clears the storms of deception, allowing us once more to find the path and strives for harmony in the home and in society at large. He works at a macro and micro level, uniting mankind where Iblees tries to tear us apart. Who can we look to now to guide us through the falsehoods? We must know him in order to follow him. The Prophet gave us details to help identify the Imams. The Prophet said, "Islam shall neither pass away nor be deviated while there are my 12 successors from my nation in it. All of them will be from Quraysh. When the last of them passes away, the hour will be established, and the earth will be destroyed with all its inhabitants." This is a hadith that all schools of thought accept as being authentic and reliable. In other hadith, he has even named the 12 successors, and yet, in other hadith, he has named only a couple of successors, like this hadith, where the Prophet says, "I am the chief of the prophets, and Ali is the chief of successors, and after me my successors shall be 12, the first of them being Ali, and the last of them being al-Mahdi." Imam Ali has said, "Every year has the night of power, the Laylatul Qadr, and in this night the affairs of the entire year are sent down. These affairs are handed to the one possessing authority after the Holy Prophet." Ibn Abbas questioned, "Who are these?" Imam Ali answered, "I and 11 Imams from my progeny." All Muslims agree that from the time after the Prophet until the day of the raising, there will be 12 Imams. This is promised by the truthful Prophet of Allah, Prophet Muhammad. May peace and blessings of Allah be upon him and his pure progeny. We live in a time more than 1400 years after the Prophet, and as 11 of the 12 successors named by the Prophet have passed, and we know that we cannot be living in an age without an Imam, one truth is clear. We are now in the age of the 12th and final Imam, and after him will come the Qiyamah, the end of the world. We are in the time that the Prophet himself held up as special, the time of the final Imam, the Mahdi. We are lucky to be alive at such a time and to have a special guide to lead us along the path to truth, the long-awaited 12th Imam, Imam Mahdi. You may have heard of other prophecies, that the Imam Mahdi will appear in Mecca and call people unto him and lead them in a war against the Antichrist, the false Messiah, or Masih Dajjal. You may wonder how we can be in the glorious age of the 12th Imam when these things have not yet come to pass. The simple answer is, they will. All of those prophecies deal with the public appearance of the Imam Mahdi, and in time that will come. Imam Mahdi exists as the Imam of our age, but has not yet appeared publicly. In the battle against Iblees, on the brink of the final reckoning, tactics and timing are everything. Imam Mahdi works with stealth and keeps his headquarters concealed. He travels and meets people, and people who want to contact him can do so, but he makes no public appearance. Not yet. For he is fighting a grand war against the ancient deceiver, and after him there are no imams, just Qiyamah. Iblis fears the Mahdi as he has never feared any imam before. Iblis has long consolidated his power, yet knows he is not truly immortal. He knows he will die, and he knows that it is the Mahdi who will finish him. Imam Mahdi is not a prophecy, it is a promise, and the time is now. All of those prophecies deal with the public appearance of the Imam Mahdi, and in time that will come. Imam Mahdi exists as the Imam of our age, but has not yet appeared publicly. In the battle against Iblees, on the brink of the final reckoning, tactics and timing are everything. Imam Mahdi works with stealth and keeps his headquarters concealed. He travels and meets people, and people who want to contact him can do so, but he makes no public appearance. Not yet. For he is fighting a grand war against the ancient deceiver, and after him there are no imams, just Qiyamah. Iblis fears the Mahdi as he has never feared any imam before. Iblis has long consolidated his power, yet knows he is not truly immortal. He knows he will die, and he knows that it is the Mahdi who will finish him. Iblis rightly fears the 12th Imam. What do we know of the Mahdi, who can cause even the most powerful enemy, Iblis, to feel such fear? We look again to the words of the Prophet. Allah will make Ruhullah Isa, son of Maryam, to descend and pray behind Imam al-Mahdi, and the earth will be illuminated by his radiance, and his power will reach to the east and the west. In another hadith he said, Mahdi is from my progeny and from the children of Fatima. Fatima Zahra told her son Hussein, when I give birth to you, the Prophet came to see me. He took you in his hands and said to me, O Fatima, take your Hussein and know that he is the father of 9 Imams. From his descendants will appear righteous leaders, among whom the 9th will be the Qa'im. Qa'im is another title of the Mahdi. It means the one who rises. The promise made by the prophet is true, as always. Imam Mahdi has a long life, and we know that until he makes a public appearance, the world will not end. But when he does, he will fill the earth with truth and justice, where it was filled with cruelty and oppression. When that time comes, it will be the happiest for mankind. We live in a time of great excitement. We are in the time of preparation for the appearance of the Mahdi, a time where relationships are built. We can all prepare alongside the Mahdi for the time of his golden rule. As he prepares for his appearance, we can ensure that we establish and strengthen our connection with him, so that we stand ready when he calls us publicly to come to him. Imam Mahdi is now on a journey no less special than the journey of Karbala made by Imam Hussein. Will you join the 12th and final Imam in his journey, or will you ignore this journey as most Muslims did at the time of Imam Hussein? The end game may not have begun, but the pieces are moving into position, and we must ensure we end up in the right place. Iblees knows this and is more active than ever, trying every trick he has learned to outmaneuver the Imam and delay his appearance. Iblees can sense the final battle approaching. He has crafted some of his most sophisticated deceptions to fool us into following him and to distract the plans of the Imam. Iblees knows that if the Imam and his supporters can defeat Dajjal in the final battle, this will also be the end for Iblees. The two armies start to gather. Dajjal and Iblees are joined by others from the jinn world. Imam Mahdi stands on the other side, along with the good jinn, for he is an Imam over the jinn as much as he is over man. Two great armies facing off, both knowing war is coming, both waiting for the first move. We will play our part too, and must find ourselves on the right side. The war will come, the battle will rage, and at the end, Imam Mahdi will stand victorious. All those who stand against the Imam will be vanquished. The evil jinn and even Iblees himself, the outcast, will be banished to suffer in hell forever. The end of the war and the conquest over Iblees will usher in a new era for the world. Imam Mahdi's rule will be a triumph of true, peaceful, unadulterated Islam. Gone will be the fiery jinn whispering in our ears, enticing our souls to sin. Sin may still exist, but overall, there will be peace, justice, and tranquility. There will be no Iblees to cloud our vision, and we will see only the truth. There are many hadith and prophecies which tell of the wonder of this golden age of the Ummah of the Prophet. That is the future. For now, Iblees is among us, and so is our Imam. Even though he has not yet made his public appearance, this is a historic time, and we are part of the struggle and must unite to create the conditions for his public appearance. The first step is to build connections, to feel the Imam's presence in the world and to make him feel yours. Salam, or sending your salutations to him, is an excellent way to build this connection with him. In your salutations, you can address him by any of his titles, as in Ya Imam al-Mahdi or Ya Sahib al-Zaman, meaning O Master of the Time. You can address him also as Ya Baqiyatullah, which means O that which remains with Allah and is preserved by Allah, for Allah has indeed preserved this last Imam, who is the pride of mankind. The other 11 Imams before him have taught the etiquette for sending special salutations to the Mahdi. A touch on the forehead when mentioning his name is a mark of respect. It is like saying, your service is on my head, O Mahdi. Everything you want, I'll obey you. Although he makes no public appearance, he is still your guide. He is in contact with people who need him or call upon him for guidance. There are many ways in which he offers guidance and help. He doesn't need a public speech for that. He does not need to appear publicly to be able to help you and guide you, not when he is assisted by a force of powerful and good souls and saints, the Qalandars, the Abdal, Kutub, and others. They keep him informed about the world and help him stay connected to his followers. Angels deliver to the Imam the messages of all those who write to him, thousands of messages from people of many religions. These people experience a response from the Imam in the form of solutions and guidance in their problems. He is called upon by many angels, including the Ruhul Amin, on the night of power. This night of power, or the Laylatul Qadr, is talked about in the Quran as the night in which the affairs decided by Allah are presented by the Ruhul Amin to the Imam. You may remember this from the earlier hadith, where Imam Ali said, every year has the night of power, the Laylatul Qadr, and in this night the affairs of the entire year are sent down. These affairs are handed to the one possessing authority after the Holy Prophet. Among all the Imams, the Mahdi is given the most importance in the scriptures. Followers of many religions around the world await his public appearance, when he will unite all of the sons and daughters of Adam as they have never been united before. Every person on earth, be they Christian, Muslim, or any other faith, will stand together with the Imam. Differences between people will remain, but the overriding humanity of all people will rise above these differences as never before. The human spirit will prevail, and humanity will be as one.